give thanks. And so, to lead us off in a prayer, we will call on Pastor Jamal Santos.
world-class product that could compete in any market, nationally, regionally, and internationally. And I am hopeful that he will continue his efforts in reaching out beyond Guyana. I know he has started in the Caribbean market, but I would like to encourage you and your team, Andre, to look to go even beyond the region. And I recall it was last year, December, at our annual award ceremony, when His Excellency, he threw out a challenge to the manufacturing sector for us to look beyond Guyana, for us to look at the region. And today I can say we are proud that this is just one example of manufacturers rising to that challenge. However, it is no easy feat. And I'm sure Andre will tell us about the many challenges he had and what it took to overcome those challenges. And we have recognized in the private sector that in order for us to realize our potential, we have to work closely in partnership with the government. And the GMSA has been doing that for many years. And more recently, we have established a joint working relationship with the Ministry of Natural Resources. And I want to recognize Minister Vikram Bharat, who co-chairs a joint working mechanism between the GMSA and the ministry, which provides a platform for us to address many of the critical issues that we face in the private sector. But also at the institutional level, the Guyana Forestry Commission, we have a very close interagency arrangement where the GMSA is able to bring to the Commission many of the operational type of challenges that we have. And I want to say here today that we have been able to get the full support and cooperation of the government at all levels, from policy right down to the institutional level, working closely with us to try to ensure that the enabling framework is put in place so that private sector businesses like Florid, can be able to thrive and to grow and to embrace new opportunities. So today, I want to join with you in congratulating Andre for this recent effort. I would say that even as we pursue many of the opportunities overseas, and Andre's product, as I said earlier, is one that certainly can meet the requirements of many markets. It is still important that we see products like these, homemade wood products, get the kind of uptake that's needed in the domestic market. And here I report both in terms of government as well as the private sector. We would like to see a greater share of domestic procurement utilize locally produced goods, locally manufactured goods. And there are many initiatives that can provide that foothold. The housing program is one, and I'm happy to see Minister Rodriguez here. And in the agro-processing sector as well, there are opportunities where we can maximize, through national procurement, the use of our own homegrown products. And this is very important at a time when we are still grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic. Many businesses are still going through challenges. And it's by providing that foothold, we can help local businesses recover to be able to do more and expand and grow as we expect them to do. So, in closing, I wish to extend to you, Andre, your family, and the Florid team, all congratulations on this initiative. I want to encourage everyone, Guyanese and visitors and foreigners, to visit this showroom to see what Guyana has to offer, and more importantly, to support this Made in Guyana brand. Thank you.
Andre offers a complete package, manufacturing and installation, world-class product. Those were a few of my takeaways from your presentation. If you are now joining us, please understand that if you need to use the washroom, you can follow along this way, and the ladies right here can point you in that direction. Also, they will be serving you some beverages to wet your throat, as I do know it's a bit humid on here, but you'll be just fine, ladies. Our next presenter is none other than Dr. Vishnu Durga. Dr. Vishnu Durga is the Executive Chairperson for Action Invest, Caribbean Inc., an ISO certified training and coaching company. He holds a PhD in management, specializing in entrepreneurship, as well as an MBA in engineering qualifications. As past president and chairman of the Council of several business supporting organizations, including the Georgetown Chamber, Go Invest, and the Bureau of Standards, Vishnu has over 20 years of private sector development service. He's very passionate about personal, professional, and organizational development. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Dr. Durga.
Thank you very much, Bianca. And I would like to acknowledge our ministers here today with us. It shows the commitment as well of the government, of ministers in terms of what's happening with our local development, local companies really moving up to another level. But I would also like to congratulate Andre Cummings and the team at It Guyana for taking this very bold step. It is exactly 5 years ago, last week, that I first met Andre at a business development forum that we hosted at the Marriott back then. And although Bianca gave me quite a bit of an overview, I'm here to talk today as a friend of Ms. Andre Cummings and a supporter of the organization. And a couple of weeks later, after initially meeting Andre was in my office, indicating to me that he really wanted to elevate the level of his organization. He wanted to deliver high quality products in a reliable manner. Those were his words. I went back to my notes of 5 years ago, and he said that what he really wanted to do was deliver high quality products in a very reliable manner for more and more local and international clients to enjoy. As we discussed his vision, it became clearer and clearer that he was very strong on the things that he knew. But more importantly, and this is sometimes the missing part, he was also very clear about the things that he did not know. And he was very open on seeking advice, seeking guidance, seeking knowledge, skills, and abilities in order to address those gaps, in order to move things to the next level. This is probably the only time this has ever happened to me, where halfway through a meeting, because we're scheduled to talk for about an hour, and if you remember, halfway through the meeting, Andre said, no, this is enough. We got to get started. There's already enough to do, and Andre really said that he was willing to work, and work he did together with his team, and he continues to evolve as a leader as well, which is really evident in the competence and commitment that is demonstrated by his professional team. For those of you who have not had a view yet of the showroom on the inside, that will become very, very evident to you very shortly. Florist clients, really rave about the floors, the doors, and if you can only rhyme words with that, but everything that is really put forward by the company is something to marvel at. And the products can actually be found all over the world, from Canada to New Zealand to Europe. And in the meantime, as Sean mentioned, Florid has become an international company by opening its first international location in Jamaica. And it is steps like this, steps like the one that we're taking here today, that really places another feather in the cap of all Guyanese. Any Guyanese person visiting this showroom will be beaming with pride that this is made in Guyana, and it's made to a specific global standard. And, we talk about local content a lot. It always takes local capacity building first, right? You can't get local content without developing the capacity to then provide content. And with this team, they've actually moved, beyond local content to actually being able to be global content. And I think if there was a next step for us as Guyanese, beyond talking about local content and all the work that comes with it, it is to actually develop global content. That you can't just compete in Guyana, but you're able to compete anywhere else in the world. And I think this is really a step in the right direction. We know that as our economy evolves, so too will flourish. And it is our responsibility in the private and public sector to encourage and support companies like this to really rise by creating an environment for growth and, especially from a private sector perspective, the level of activity that generates prosperity. When we talk about our national pledge and we talk about, we want to dedicate our energies towards the happiness and prosperity of Guyana and of Guyanese. This is one step. Happiness is just one ingredient. We also need to be able to have prosperity to make sure that our kids have a much better future than we could have for ourselves. So, Andre, you've grown a lot over the
So the architect, the designer was recommended for we went for an initial consultation. They showed us what the options were, and we were, I think, we need to feel comfortable that what we wanted and what we paid for was what we received.
I have worked with Ford on a construction project using their cabinetry in my kitchens.
The services that I did was my paper sets and mold inside and external craft to be. I thought from the 90s, I thought it was gorgeous for my opinion and was the most impressive thing apart from the actual finish is the customer service. Team for it from management to actual staff on the ground, on the ground.
That performance doesn't match what we expected.
Top quality work, film drawing, top quality work. There's a base method, the base is not actually because social quality, which is actually base the work and the moisture bar.
Use them both for buying the hardwood and installing our new floor in the restaurant. They were excellent on both counts. We would highly recommend Floor Guyana to anyone.
Performance of the matches, the expectations of it has done everything that we expected it to be hoped.
We were delighted with the service from start to finish. The supervisors, the installation crew were quick, friendly and professional. They were installing our replacement wooden floor and their professional advice on how to install a new and improved substructure would avoid the problems encountered with the old floor. More importantly, because the work was done over a very busy period at the hotel, we had been dreading the upheaval. The installation crew worked above and beyond to ensure the project was finished in less than the scheduled time period. Daily contact with one of the colleagues, checking to see if we were happy, and keeping us well informed all throughout the process reflects a level of customer service that can be hard to find in the end.
People came to work on this job. You're one of the most professional people I've ever seen working like that.
They have been punctual, they have been so courteous, my place has always been left clean.
Yeah, the work is really fantastic. Their product is really great. Working with them has been so pleasant and so smooth. The finished product is beyond one's expectation. In the future, I'll simply work it out.
I would recommend Showroom for all of your furnishing needs and also your work for your flooring. Think about reliability and think about quality. Think about the experience. When you put those together, you have flooring. Go check them out and let them give you that experience that I have had with them. Great professionals. They're punctual. They give you a schedule as to what is going to this week. We are totally happy. And I would highly recommend anyone to go back to the food and never use for your house.
When Floor Guyana had finished, it was brilliant. The result is stunning and we could not be happier. We have absolutely no hesitation in recommending them to anyone requiring a beautiful hardwood floor, laid with care and professionalism, and at a great price.
Oh wow, that deserves a round of applause. I felt like I was in a movie for a second. Oh my gosh. So if you have not experienced these products for yourself as yet, you will have the opportunity shortly to go into the showroom so that you can experience all that these customers have been talking about. It is now that time of the hour where we call upon upon Mr. Cummings himself to give us his message. And I would like for you to sit back and really listen to this intro keenly, as you will hear a little more about the man behind all of what you see here today, and the reason we're all sitting here, and why his work ethic is the way it is. Mr. Cummings started his journey in customer service and negotiation from a very young age while observing and assisting his father in their pharmacy. He began his journey in the corporate world as a successful sales representative and was subsequently promoted to sales supervisor with Rentokil Guyana. During his years at Rentokil, he benefited from numerous sales and marketing training. Mr. Cummings soon started winning a number of prizes as well as overseas trips for high achievers throughout the Caribbean and England. His years at Rentokil taught him the much needed skills that helped shape the successful entrepreneur he is today. In 2003, Mr. Cummings left Rentokil and partnered with the Barbadian businessman in undertaking that pursuit would exports to Barbados. In a sense, Cummings' wood products, which opened doors in 2008, represented an upward step from the early initiative, and today the company exports wood products across the Caribbean and to the United States. The subsequent creation of Florids in 2014 was a response to a niche in the local market for supplying and installing kiln-drying hardwood flooring, and today the company has expanded its products to include kitchen cabinets, closets, doors, and other wooden products. Having recognized the lack of quality hardware options available in Guyana to complement the products Ford produces, created a new business opportunity for Mr. Cummings. With great confidence in the economy, in late 2020, Mr. Cummings acted on this opportunity and started a new company, Hardware Solutions Depot, which supplies premium quality and top brands of hardware for home builders. With his vision for regional expansion, Florids Guyana was founded in 2018 with a showroom and warehouse in Kingston, Jamaica. Mr. Cummings is the past chairman of the Forestry and Wood Products subsector of the Guyana Manufacturers and Services Association and currently sits on the board. His entrepreneurial and leadership qualities speak for themselves as he has successfully started 3 companies locally and another in Jamaica with his eyes set on the future and the further regional expansion. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Mr. Andre Cummings.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honorable Minister of Natural Resources, John Barrett, Honorable Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Ulrich Warren, Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Records, President of the Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association, Mr. Shamlocke, distinguished guests, friends all. I stand here in profound humility, hearing the adoration that is being said, and it's all really about my team. I'm really responsible for being here today with the help of many organizations and individuals. And it will be remiss of me if I do not make mention of some of these individuals and organizations. I first want to make mention of Action Coach Guyana, and more specifically, my business coach, Dr. Dorga. Thanks for all the encouragement and guidance over the years. Next, I want to make mention of our bankers, GBTI. I notice Priya is here. Thank you, Priya. I also want to mention Faisal Ali from A. Ali & Sons. The appliances you will see in the showroom, they are the kind compliments of A. Ali & Sons. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to thank our suppliers who come from far and wide, but as far as the Northwest, right down to Latin in Guyana. More importantly, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to thank our team members. our hard, dedicated, loyal team members. Is Vijay, where is Vijay? Vijay, just come in front for 1 second, please. Ladies and gentlemen, when you go into the showroom, what you will see is all done in-house. And it was created by, please get Vijay a moment, please. Thank you, Vijay. Yes, like our manufacturing team, our installation team, the furniture department, but it was also led by Vijay and did a marvelous job. Ladies and gentlemen, our customers. Without our customers, we could not be here. Our loyal, dedicated customers, and I'm seeing quite a few of them here today. Build the capacity of your team in order to deliver to the marketplace. So, coming to the product started in 2008, and over the years we've grown considerably as in North America. And we also have in Jamaica, Florida, Jamaica. We have a showroom and a warehouse in Kingston, Jamaica. Now, I want to just give you a little story of how Florida Guyana actually started. In 2014, back then we never really concentrated on the local market. So those of the persons that knew about us would buy wood from us from time to time. And there was this customer bought some wood from us and called me a few days after. He said, Andre, come down here, please, Mr. Cummings. This wood you sell us is not good. I said, okay, I'll be there. I visited the location. The homeowner was there with the contractor installing. And they were claiming that the sizing is inconsistent. So I took out my caliper and we started to measure each piece of wood. Not to mention that the guy is nailing the flooring from on top. And many of you would know most flooring in Guyana, you obviously the nail and the putty on top. So we started to measure each piece, and awkward moment there. So I said to the homeowner, are you finished? He said, yes, Mr. Cummings, I'm finished. You can leave. And as I walked back to my vehicle, it turned purpose into pointlessness because we got paid, but the customer wasn't happy. Many of you can relate in instances where you invested your hard-earned cash, only to be disappointed, whether it's a poor product or a poor service. And right there and then, I noticed a gap in the marketplace. And I said to myself, Guyanese doesn't deserve this. We subfloor preparation, subfloor preparation, installation, and sanding and finishing. And I can stand here proud today to tell you that the services you get from Florida Guyana, it is of the standards of North America. But there is a but. It comes with half the price. Ladies and gentlemen, after we started to install floor, customers become familiar and accustomed to our professionalism and our reliability. They started to ask us what else can we do? Kitchen cupboards, doors, and other wooden products in the home. So today we expanded our product line to include those products. Then we end up with another roadblock. The audience right now, they have to go outside to source premium quality from the door. Right now, and the massive growth affluent to be particularly in government support for the private sector. More specifically, in partnership with the public sector, whereby the recent budget that was tabled, it was $25.6 billion put aside for roads and bridges. That would definitely bring down the price for the raw material from the forest to reach the marketplace, and as well with the other plans to bring down to reduce the cost of energy and all the housing development that we are expecting very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to close this brief remarks by addressing a very fundamental question. And the question is, who is Floyd? Who is Floyd? I'm not talking about manufacturing. I mean, we do that well. But there's something deeper than that. Who are we? What do we believe? And why are we so passionate? Here it is. At Floyd, we believe the day will come when people see the made in Guyana label. It will be a signature of excellence. That's a movement we've started. And when we recognize local businesses who've created only skills and products to create value for clients, both local.
Not know that Mr. Cummings is the owner of Florence. With that power and convicting message, you don't know, right? Uganda is our first guest speaker, who is none other than Minister Rodriguez herself. She's Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water. And ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you that you will be graced with lots of golden nuggets coming from a woman with a wealth of knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Minister Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And let me apologize for not responding to your requests. For I was your most disgusting guest because I didn't respond to the introduction. Let me start out by congratulating Mr. Andre Cummings, his team at Floret, and his family, because I've known Andre in a personal capacity for over 10 years. And the man, Andre, has always been full of integrity. He is decent, he's kind, he's a gentleman, and he's always been a devoted family man. And so somebody with those qualities is bound to be successful. Now, we heard a lot of presentations from the private sector, but I'm a politician. So you know which direction I'm going to go. Our country and our economy has endured a tough few years over the last 5 years. The decline in the economy, the lack of vision, and this animosity that seemed to have went on with government and private sector. And to compound that, we are in the COVID-19 pandemic, which has tested the endurance and the tenacity of the private sector. And I know Mr. Cummings would have been tested himself and questioned many of the decisions that he made during that period, and questioning whether he should expand and explore new areas of business. But our country and our economy is on the road to recovery. And so I admire and I commend Mr. Cummings for his courage to expand his business at this time. While we've just come out of a very trying period, it is very clear to all who can see and who wish to participate. It's very clear that there's a huge transformation that is about to take place in our country. And our government has been very clear that in order for us to see this transformation, we will ensure that there is the necessary Guyanese benefiting from that transformation. So this is a very important time in our time. We have to ensure we protect our local content. And I see this eagerness now in the private sector to invest and to expand. And I think that that is as a result of having confidence in the government and in the economy. Because I think that it's very clear that when we speak as policymakers about the direction that we want the country to go in, that we follow that up with the necessary plans and programs to see it through. So it's not just talk, but when you look at the measures in the budget, for example, you see that, for example, in the Ministry of Housing, let's just use that as an example. We are talking about promoting home ownership, but it's not just talk, because what you saw in the budget, both the 2020 budget and the 2021 budget, is actual policies on how we're going to ensure that people are encouraged to build and to become homeowners. So removing the VAT on construction materials, zero rating stone, pre-compressed piles, fabricated beams, all of these locally produced, locally manufactured, roofing, PVC products, all of those are measures that reduce the cost of construction. And hence the comprehensive approach that we not only say these things, but we ensure that we have the necessary policies and measures to see it through. And that, I think, bolsters the confidence that the private sector has in our government. And so I wish to assure you, and I wish to assure the private sector, that you have a partner in this government, that we will work with you, that we are serious about our commitments that we made to the public. But government alone cannot fulfill all of those commitments. We need partners. We need the private sector's help. And so all of us have to get on board and see the bigger picture, that at the end of the day, what we want is national pride and national prosperity. Is enhanced, and that must happen within our first term in office. And I don't wish to be long because we've endured a few long speeches already and then there are a couple more to come. But again, I wish to congratulate Florit because from what I have seen, and I told you, Andrew, that I've watched some of your videos on Facebook because I'm fascinated by construction. I have a construction background as well. So I'm always looking for those innovative ways to try to cut down the time for construction. But I support you when you say it is time for us to start recognizing local products as having international standard. And I think Florit has done an exceptional job at that. And so heartfelt congratulations to you and your team and your family on this outstanding product. And I wish to assure you of government's cooperation, and we look forward to forming more of these partnerships in the future as we go forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. National pride and national prosperity are in indeed. Our next presenter is none other than Mrs. Waldron. She's the Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce with a wide-ranging portfolio for business matters in Guyana. In this regard, she has policy oversight for a range of entities, including the Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission, the Small Business Bureau, the Guyana National Bureau of Standards, and the Guyana Tourism Authority. Without further ado, please help me welcome in Mrs. Waldron.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction. And quite unlike my colleague minister, I cooperated, right? You know, it may seem like it's overkill to have 3 ministers here at this occasion, but I just wanted to magnify the point that, as my colleague minister has said, that our government is committed to the growth, the resuscitation of our private sector. And we want to send the message loud and clear that we are your ready partners in development. All protocols observed. My colleague ministers, Mrs. Sham Noctor, Ms. Dr. Durga, members of the media. As the Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, it brings me great joy for several reasons to be a part of today's launch. First, it exemplifies our vision and philosophy for small business intervention. The Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, through the Small Business Bureau, continues to provide support to the small and micro enterprises through our grants and our loan guarantee program. Our president, Dr. Irfan Ali, has repeatedly articulated that government supports small businesses. And as those who followed the budget, the 2021 presentation, would recognize that over 250 million was allocated to Small Business Development Fund and a further 25 million to the Green Tech Fund as part of an overarching support for small businesses. These initiatives is not government simply just putting money into the coffers of businesses or giving away money, but every grant or every loan guarantee provided, the government is signaling in a very tangible way that we are investing in the growth and development of small businesses. The objective is clear. We want to provide the impetus for growth with the expectation that these businesses will emerge and move from micro enterprises to larger corporations, which provide employment and contribute to our gross domestic product. So this opening is heartwarming because I was made aware that Florit benefited from the services of the Small Business Bureau This small entity is small business, providing employment and contributing to the economy. And I understand that Florida has over 50 It's a special provision that opens up a world of opportunities for small businesses in Guyana contracts. I'm impressed with today's opening because it's an express indication that more businesses are reinforced more and remains committed to providing the necessary engagement and support. I'm happy also to learn that Florida has expanded its operations to Jamaica with a partnership there. And more businesses are understanding as opportunities with the oil and gas, agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism sectors that must be grasped with both hands. However, leveraging these opportunities will require collaborative linkages with international companies. I'm delighted to be a part of this occasion, and that is that I'm an advocate for quality work. I do not subscribe to the concept that the quality of our local products is inferior and than those that are produced overseas, and that foreign is better. I've looked at your products, Mr. Cummings, and I'm impressed, really impressed with the quality of work that you produce. Your hardwood products are among the best in Guyana, and all of the finishings I saw was exceptional. This reinforces the point and your passion that our local manufacturers can and do deliver quality work that matches and even exceeds that of their international counterparts. As you export your floor materials, moldings, and deckings and other products to the Caribbean and other parts of the world, I particularly would be proud to see the Made in Guyana stamp attached. In closing, let me congratulate you on this opening and assure you that you have your government's support. At the ministry, we continue to provide access to funding through our loan guarantee program. Soon, manufacturers will benefit from lower electricity costs, which will allow them to be more competitive. The future is bright for businesses in Guyana. And as we cut the ribbon, let it serve as an inspiration to those thinking about investing in business in Guyana and expanding operation, that this is the time to do so. Let today's opening be a reminder that hard work, dedication, and a commitment to our vision always pays off. Congratulations once again to you and your team, and thank you for doing that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Hard work works. I want to play a little game with you. So this half of the audience coming back this way, you say hard work. And from this side coming back, you'll add hard work. Are we clear? You're not clear? We'll get it. 2, 3. Hard work. But we need to hear you a little louder. Let me hear you. Let's go. Hard work works, indeed. Moving on our agenda is none other than our featured speaker. As the Minister of Natural Resources and a member of Guyana's 12th Parliament, he has been assigned oversight of the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission, Guyana Forestry Commission, and Guyana Gold Board and the Department Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome in Minister Vikram Bharat.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may be permitted to take off my mask since I'm far away from you. When I looked at the program when I came in, I was trying to figure out why I was slated as the last minister to speak. But I guess I got my answer when I look at the testimonials. And one of the obviously satisfied customers described the word as sexy. And myself being the minister with the responsibility for wood. Colleague ministers, Mr. Sham Noctor, President of GMSA, Dr. Durga, Mr. and Mrs. Cummins, and younger Cummins, I can tell from the resemblance. I hope I'm not wrong. And the team at Florit, special invitees, media, good afternoon. And Mr. Cummins, thank you on behalf of the Ministry of Natural Resources for extending the invitation and also asking me to make some remarks at this significant activity this afternoon. First, let me extend congratulations and best wishes to you, family and team, for this bold initiative, an initiative that is necessary at this point in time in the development in our history, in our country. We have just come out of a year that can be considered as probably one of the worst in the history of our country, with the entire election fiasco, the recount, the court cases, and then couple that with the pandemic that we're still faced with. So one would ask themselves, why is it that Mr. Cummins is actually venturing out into this new initiative? Why is it that he's investing his hard-earned cash in an initiative of this nature at this point in time? And the answer to that is simple. It is because Mr. Cummins realized that Guyana is moving forward. He realized that the opportunity exists in Guyana. He realized that he can make an impact on the local market. He realized that it's important towards the development trajectory that our government would like to see in our country. He realized that we should start our materials and ship ideas for what he's doing. And I think that is what it takes to be successful. That is what is necessary to be a driving force in anything that you're doing. We are politicians, and we love it. For us, it is addictive. This is not work for us. We do it because we love it. Mr. Cummins is doing this because he loves it. And I am particularly pleased with the approach that he's taken. I've been a business teacher for a number of years, and I often say that the most important or the number one objective of starting a business should not be to make a profit. If you're starting a business with the main objective of making a profit, should be to satisfy. That is what motivated him to start his business, because he realized that the customer, even though he was paid for the job, he realized that the customer was not satisfied. And that is what pushed him into becoming a driving force in delivering a finished product. So all of us, and those young entrepreneurs who will be venturing into business activities in the future, they should take a leaf out of Mr. Cummins' page and to approach business from that perspective, to satisfy your customers. And there is a guarantee, and Mr. Cummins will tell you too, there is a guarantee that once you satisfy your customers, you will be profitable. Your business will be profitable. You will make a profit. That is actually the bonus to satisfying your customers. So, on behalf of the Ministry of Natural Resources, I want to go beyond on behalf of His Excellency President Irfan Ali and the government of Guyana. We want to commend you for answering the call to venturing into a business activity that would add value to our forest products. That is that we found the Forestry Commission when we took over government in August 2020. And sometimes it sounds like song to the ears now, but the fact is that the Forestry Commission was bankrupt. It is unbelievable to think of a country that does almost 87% of its land mass covered in forests, having a Forestry Commission that is bankrupt, that is unable to pay the staff's salary, unable to pay basic utilities in a country like Guyana where we have abundance of forests. Only earlier I was telling Mr. Cummins that the production rate in Guyana for logging is 30 to 35%. Imagine we are producing logs in this country at 30 to 35% of the allowable cut. We are allowed based on the, and Sham will tell you more about that because he's the czar when it comes to climate change, and the LCDS, he's been there from the inception, that we are allowed to cut almost 1 million cubics per year. And in 2020, we only harvested 300,000. Only 300,000. So we need to move in a direction where we need to increase our production as a country and as a sector. So the Ministry of Natural Resources will take a number of initiatives to increase production and to encourage more people like Mr. Cummins to add value to our products, to build that Guyana brand that we are so desirous of having, and to be recognized throughout the world. Our government, since taking office, would have given a number of initiatives to the logging forestry sector. And that is the kind of confidence that Mr. Cummins and many others have in the new government now. Because what we did since we took over is not to penalize, but to incentivize the sector. Budget 2020 and Budget 2021, the debates will start soon. I'm sure you will hear that the People's Progressive Party presented 2 private sector budgets. We heard that in 2020, and I'm sure we will hear that again. But the private sector is important to the development of any country. And that is why our government will always support the private sector. It is a known fact that no government in the world can provide employment for all its people. The private sector will have to play a part in that. And if we are going to penalize the private sector, then we are saying that we don't want our country to develop. That is why we took the initiative in the logging sector to remove VAT from the machinery. Agriculture sector, the mining sector as well, we would have reduced the VAT only after 1 month in government. Further to that, we are going to take duty off ATVs and issue duty-free concession on other vehicles based on production in 2021, because we want our country to grow. We want the sector to grow. We know that it is hard too, and was mentioned by previous presenters, that we want our local producers to be competitive, not only locally, regionally, but also internationally. But to do that, we know that there is a challenge. Mr. Cummins spoke about capacity building, and I'm happy to hear that his team was trained in the US so that they can produce quality products of international standard. But it is not only capacity building, it is the cost of power generation that is a hindrance to the development or to the value-added industry in our country. Many people will tell you that because of the cost of our power generation, they are not competitive on the regional and international market. And as a government, we would have recognized that, we would have realized that. We are oil producing nation now, but oil is not always the answer. We need cheap power. That is why our government is embarking on the gas to energy project, or the gas to shore project, which is we've already started studies on that project and then move to a stage where we will do building and implementation. And you would have heard our president mention that once that our power generation will cut by over 50%. And that is not pipe dreams we are selling. We have already started the studies to bring about a better livelihood, bring about a better standard of living for all Guyanese. And I say all Guyanese, whether you're from the Rupununi, Showroom, or the Quarantine Coast. On board, it means that our electricity costs will be cut by more than 50%. Then we can have more of our people venturing into value-added business, because then it will be competitive. If you ask most of our business and entrepreneurs or loggers, why is it that they don't move into lumber or wood products? They will tell you that the cost of generation is too expensive. Power generation is too expensive. And if they do so, they will not be able to compete with the international market. So that is something that we intend to answer, and that would bring about abundance of opportunities for all Guyanese. And as I was mentioning to Mr. Cummins when we came early and we were having a look at the showroom, that we want more of fluorite in Guyana. And it should not be seen as competition. It should be actually seen as partners in the value-added industry. We have enough market share, both locally and regionally. Competition happens to be what I rated as one of the most amazing thing in this world. And most of the times I would say that competition is probably the only thing that improves quality and reduces price. I can't think of anything else that would improve quality and reduce price other than competition and healthy competition. It also pushes people like Mr. Cummins and others to, how we say it in Guyana, to up the game so that we can compete not only with ourselves here, but on the regional and international market. I want to say too that the next 5 years will be an exciting period for our country. There's a lot of talk about oil and gas, and that Guyana is an oil producing country, and that is true. We have already gained a significant amount of direct revenue from oil sales. But I want to say too that our government is committed. Our government is fully committed to ensuring that we support all sectors, to ensure that we support all the traditional productive sectors, because we have seen many countries in the world, because of oil and gas, they would have neglected the other traditional productive sectors like forestry, like mining, like agriculture. And we have seen over the last 5 years that is where Guyana was heading. That is why you find now most of our productive sectors are not producing as they should. We are basically repairing most of these sectors. So we want to give that kind of commitment that as a government we will support all the traditional productive sectors, and we will not allow the Dutch disease like the COVID to take over us. We are going to fight against half of the extent or half felt fluoride, and wish you all the best. I want to say too that in the Ministry of Natural Resources and in the government of Guyana, you have a partner in development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Mr. Cummins, you have a partner in development. Bear that in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close the curtains down for today's proceedings, I would like to call on none other than Ms. Karuna Mangar to give the vote of thanks. Ms. Karuna?
honorable ministers, the president of the Guyana Manufacturing Services Association, members of the private sector, Madam Chairwoman, our most valued invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to deliver our vote of thanks on this auspicious occasion. We would first like to express our utmost thanks to our respected ministers, Minister of Natural Resources, Honorable Mr. Victor Mark, Minister of Tourism Industry and Commerce, Honorable Minister Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Ms. Suzanne Rodriguez. We thank you for your words of encouragement and support. We look forward to the opportunities that the government will be providing for the growth of our local businesses. We would like to extend our gratitude to the President of the Guyana Manufacturing Association. We would like to also express gratitude to the members of the media for being present here today and for providing coverage of this grand occasion. We would like to say a special thank you to Madam Chairwoman. We thank everyone for being here today with us. Finally, we'd like to say thank you to our customers, because without them, this event would not be possible. Once again, thank you, everyone.
Oh, come on, guys, you can do better than that. What's more like it? Without further ado, we have come to that important part of our ceremony today, where we will be cutting the ribbon. So I'd like for you to turn your attention to this side of the environment, where the cutting of the ribbon will be taking place. Just so you know, after that, you will have that opportunity, that golden opportunity to tour the showroom. How do you like that? And I'm sure while touring the room, you will see lots of things that will catch your eyes. Also, there's a little something for you to take home with you so that you can always have that floor experience with you wherever you go. That being said, I now pass control over to the cutting of the ribbon. Your attention should be that way. One more thing, we only allow 12 persons at a time to enter the room because of COVID protocols. Let you understand that, right? I'm sure you do. Over to you, Mr. Cummings.
Yes.
Like
So, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Kiss with the cup on his hand. So when are we ending it?
I don't know. It didn't have somebody have to end it as it, or is it will be on all the time? Even though they come out from here, they have to accept it.
I understand.
There's a big boarding party.
There's a party.
Yeah.
All things happening in one.
Very fast, right? Yeah. You gotta tell Keon you're getting more young as you get older. You gotta understand that.
Yes. He's
Right?
35.
Yeah, tell him.
Old age
You
means
would be
wisdom.
you would be at Seville.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, because like for some reason, like I didn't place you being there. You explain to me like a little mix up. Hello, you're getting younger. Yes.
Yes.
So you're gonna